Happy Monday and welcome to another episode of the Sneak Preview, our podcast that follows the current film release calendar. I'm Connor Eyzaguirre.
And I'm Caleb Desiree.
And today our focus is on A Quiet Place Part 2, as well as Disney's Cruella. Two surprises, at least for me, and we're sure to have a blast discussing them today. But first, let's take a look at what happened last week in film. Last week in film. We had a shit ton of trailers drop this past week, so buckle up. We got a lot. First up, Edgar Wright's new film, Last Night in Soho. Stars Anya Taylor-Joy, Matt Smith, Terrence Stamp, and a lot more, set for release October 22nd. And this has been kind of a secretive property for a while now. It was supposed to come out last year. COVID postponed it to this October. And I'm intrigued. I love everything Edgar Wright has done. So I'm excited for this big time.
Yeah, same. I've yet to be disappointed by anything he's done. I like Anya Taylor-Joy. I know she's in this. The trailer has me intrigued as to like what it's about, what they're going to do with it. So yeah, I'm excited. Honestly, I can't wait. I've been wanting to see this since they announced it, so I'm excited.
Looks like a time travel horror film kind of thing that is being very cryptic. Does exactly what a trailer is supposed to do: tell you the gist, get you intrigued, but don't ruin the movie. And yeah, this will be great.
Yeah, it does a really good job that like right when it picks up at the intro, when you see like all the hands and shit coming out of nowhere, it cuts to the title and you're like, oh shit, what? Like, yeah, it doesn't reveal a lot. It does what it's supposed to. It gets you interested enough, and it's making for a very interesting October. Honestly, like this is a very interesting October release schedule. I mean, we got this coming out as of now. Halloween Kills, Antlers. I looked down because I was curious. As also an October release date, and then in the middle of all that shit, Jackass 4. Go figure. So it's definitely looking like we'll have a really interesting, varied October this year with like the type of horror films that are coming out, and this looks sad. To have Edgar Wright be one of those people is awesome.
Yeah, for sure. This is going to be a loaded show pretty much from here on out. There's great stuff coming out every week. Like it finally feels like a regular, movie season again, and that's great.
It's awesome.
We got the second trailer for Jungle Cruise. Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt, based off the ride at Disney World, set for theater and Disney Plus release on July 30th. I'm intrigued. I'm not expecting much from this. Apart from Pirates of the Caribbean, their ride movies have sucked. So I don't know.
Yeah, and this just feels more like they're copying Pirates of the Caribbean. It has like all the elements that Pirates is known for in this movie, except they just have The Rock and Emily Blunt, like two different actors that we like that we can watch.
It feels very generic. Just, two bankable stars we've seen too much of lately, and a plot that is just, find a magical item in the jungle. I feel like I've seen this movie 100 times.
Well, let's calm down on saying too much of Emily Blunt. We haven't seen enough. Let's calm down.
Okay, fine. But to be fair, I feel like The Rock has done like 6 movies a year since 2008. So I want a little bit less Dwayne Johnson. I love the guy, but he is always there.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on Dwayne Johnson. We see a lot of him. I need a break from, not because I don't like him. I just need a little break.
Next up, Escape Room Tournament of Champions, sequel to the 2019 horror film set for release July 16th. I have not seen Escape Room, but I know you have. So what do you think about this?
I'm intrigued on this one as well. Escape Room was a movie that actually kind of surprised me. I did, it was a film that I do think they should have gone for the R rating. The rating kind of held it back, but it was inventive in the idea of using like the very popular, pre-COVID, hopefully here in the next couple of months, get popular again, escape rooms, and making them to like these saw-like traps was intriguing. I thought it was actually really interesting, more original horror film to kind of come out. with a lot of potential to keep it going. And this looks like they're finding a cool way to like continue the story. So I'm intrigued. I'm curious. I'm seeing it. I like that too. The two actors that essentially survived the first one are coming back with a new cast. So
Is the sequel PG-13 as well?
it probably will be.
Well, before that comes up on this show, I'll be sure to watch Escape Room so I have some context.
I've seen it twice. I saw it, I rented it, and then I actually watched it at Josh's house one day.
Cool. It seemed a little, I don't know, I thought it looked goofy to me, Escape Room, so I didn't really pursue it.
Yeah, it's not bad. It surprised me. It's Adam Robitel, the guy who did Taking Deborah Logan.
I didn't see that.
Oh damn! I was like that was a really good found footage horror film I watched. And then I think he did the fourth Insidious, the most recent one. Yeah. So he's done a couple of horror things in the past. I think he did that before Insidious, I believe.
Okay. I don't. Well, I'll see it. I'm seeing everything, so I'll see it. Next up, The Tomorrow War stars Chris Pratt, Yvonne Strahovski, and J.K. Simmons, set for release on Prime Video July 2nd. This one's been talked about a lot. It got bought by Prime. I remember like a 30-second teaser came out, and then like a month later we got a trailer. Reminds me a lot of Edge of Tomorrow, not just because it also has tomorrow in the title, but it does look like a similar toned film. The creatures look like they just ripped A Quiet Place right off.
Yeah. I'm 50-50 on this one. It looks like a movie that will probably bank heavily off the fact that they got Chris Pratt to lead. He does in the trailer, it looked like he was toned down a little bit as far as like his usual persona.
Not by much though.
I said a little bit. I didn't say by a lot. The most positive thing I have to say was, J.K. Simmons' beard. That thing was pretty beast.
That man knows how to beard.
Put beards to shame with that one. I wonder if, but almost just can't match his tempo.
No, they cannot. Chris Pratt, I want to like him. I want to be on board. He plays the same. He's been playing Star-Lord for forever.
I'm like you. I want to like him, but he's played Star-Lord essentially with everything else he's done.
Star-Lord versus dinosaurs. Star-Lord versus Jennifer Lawrence. Star-Lord versus future aliens.
And even then, Star-Lord is not completely off from the character he played in Parks and Rec. Because the character he played in Parks and Rec was like a lovably goofy, almost idiotic person.
Yeah. Yes, he was. Did you ever see the movie The Kid from 2019?
No, I saw the trailer and then it just kind of eluded me. Yeah, I just hadn't had a chance to see it.
It wasn't bad. It was took some liberties with Billy the Kid's story. It was more focused on like these kids and their family, and then Billy the Kid's story was just kind of happening over here. Like the focus was in the wrong place. But Chris Pratt played the bad guy, this crazy gunslinger uncle of theirs who was evil as fuck. So he can go to another place. I've seen it. So I don't know if this is just his comfort zone, if he's just his default setting is, goofy, but I want to see him try something else.
All right. Look, you know me, man. As a big fan of horror, I'm a lot more into like villain characters. They're just a lot more fun to watch. So yeah, if he can play a bad guy, I want to see more of that. Show me more crazy Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
I don't like this typecasting thing he's doing can only last so long before everyone else also gets tired of it.
Well, I don't think they're going to, because almost every movie he's played this persona in has grossed over $1 billion worldwide.
Yes, but at the same time, both have been attached to much bigger properties.
Fair enough.
I know. So Jurassic World is attached to Jurassic Park, and Guardians is attached to the MCU. So he's doing within properties that are almost guaranteed to make a shit ton of money at the box office.
Touche. Well, the Tomorrow War will be on this. Every movie we talk about is going to end up on this show, whether in, brief conversation or a full episode. So we'll be talking about the Tomorrow War. Hopefully we have good things to say. The full trailer for Old, M. Night Shyamalan's new movie, dropped, set for release July 23rd. This looks very intriguing. A return, looks like a firm return to horror for M. Night. Here's hoping. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. It's tough to do that, but I'm going to try.
I'll support this. I have personally been a big fan again since The Visit. I've been back on board with Shyamalan. I know he has some detractors with Glass. I think you weren't a big fan yourself.
I actually really liked Glass. I haven't gone back to it. Like I've gone back to
Okay, I was about to say, I know he has some people. I thought it was really good and gave me exactly kind of what I expected him to give me with his take on the superhero genre.
Yeah.
I've since The Visit and Split and Glass, I've thought this guy's really kind of found his niche again and giving us the type of movies we've been wanting from him since Roll the Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
And Old looks like he's going to continue that. I'm really intrigued by that premise. Yeah. And for once, I'm actually usually, even I kind of get tired of his like constantly needing to do a damn twist. I know it's his thing. Like, I want to actually challenge him one day to just do a movie without a twist. But I'm kind of curious what the twist is in this one because I'm intrigued enough to want to know what the fuck's going on.
I have a theory just from the trailer. I think they're in some sort of alien zoo.
That would be interesting. I don't know. That sounds kind of like a jump in the shark thing for him.
That man has jumped the shark a lot. I think what's one more, but I don't know. I just
he's on a creative streak now. I don't think he needs to be doing that again.
It gives me a Twilight Zone vibe. There's something about this thing. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I probably won't be able to call it, but I am hoping it's good.
All right. Same here. Like I'm very intrigued by this. I actually do really want to see this.
Yeah, for sure. Next up, Infinite. Mark Wahlberg's new sci-fi action film for Paramount Plus that is not Highlander, quote unquote, because legally they can't do that. Directed by Anton Fuqua, co-stars Chiwetel Ejiofor, Dylan O'Brien, Sophie Cookson, Toby Jones, and Rupert Friend. Releases on Paramount Plus on June 10th, and they are banking heavily on this being a flagship film for their new service.
I can tell they are. I have Paramount Plus personally. So you already have my money, Paramount. I already got you for your Star Trek material. I'll watch it, but I don't. To me, they can make it all they want. It just looks like any other Mark Wahlberg action movie. And yeah, as far as the Highlander thing, there can be only one, and currently it's about to be Henry Cavill. So.
Well, I find it hilarious that they're making this movie about, a guy who's lived 100 lives and is now being hunted for it. Like, I mean, Highlander.
Yeah.
That's the same.
Well, and it's hot on the heels that it's confirmed, because I think it was actually confirmed Henry Cavill is going to play the role. I know said he's talking about playing it. He's in talks.
I say it's pretty good to assume, I think, at this point.
Yeah. So it's like we're already clearly getting an actual Highlander movie with an actor I'm actually very happy to see play the role. So it's like, all right, movie that isn't Highlander. Let's see how you can wow me with Mark Wahlberg.
If we actually get, a woman driving into the room and being like, get in, we actually have that cliche in this trailer. Mark Wahlberg's just kind of like the guy, Chiwetel's like, so you're an immortal warrior. Who are you? And he's just like, meh. He does that, that Mark Wahlberg, like, head turn, like, I don't know, man. It's I don't know who this is for, but I know it's not for me.
Mark Wahlberg fans that just really love him.
I guess I don't know if I would label myself as a huge fan. I think he's done good work in the past, but I don't know. I'm not excited because it's Mark Wahlberg.
I'll say, I've never really been like a huge, oh my God, Mark Wahlberg fan. He's done good movies. I got really turned off when he made the dumb comments about 9/11. If he was, you remember those when he was like, if I was in the plane, it would have gone down different. There would have been blood in that cabin. I'm like, okay, Marky Mark.
Oh dear Lord, I did not know about that. Holy shit!
Calm down your funky bunch, bro.
How arrogant! Didn't he like blind a guy with bleach once?
I think so.
I remember reading about that. I don't think he's a very stand-up guy.
No, he had a criminal history before he was a actor, or before he was a rapper. Sorry, let me not confuse his start, people.
He never got better than 2001's Planet of the Apes. Let's be honest here. That thing was art. I could only do it for about 10 seconds. I can't do it anymore.
No, he did get better. He gave us The Happening.
Oh my god! I will. Ever since
of acting ability.
What? No. Oh my god! Ever since Andy Samberg did Mark Wahlberg Talks to Animals on Saturday Night Live, I can't picture Mark Wahlberg doing anything other than, so how do you mother for me? All right. Like that's all I hear.
You know what? I'll say it. I'll say it. Donnie Wahlberg has made more interesting movies than Mark and given me some very performances that should be talked about more.
I just feel like, apart from a couple, like very few exceptions, he's been playing Mark Wahlberg his whole damn career.
Pretty much like
Boogie Nights and the other guys is like it for me.
Yeah, and Ted. Actually, if he would do more comedy, I think I'd love him more because I do think he's really funny.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, I just think he takes himself very seriously. And that's never good for anybody.
No, I mean, look, if Liam Neeson can make fun of himself in Seth MacFarlane movies, come on, Mark. Come on, Marky Mark. Come
the
on.
Best part of Ted 2 is Liam Neeson buying the cereal.
So no one's going to follow me when I take these home. Nope.
And later on, he's covered in blood, returning the cereal. Such an underrated. I like Ted 2 a lot. I think it gets a lot of hate, but I enjoyed that. And A Million Ways to Die in the West. Seth MacFarlane's, I think, just a funny motherfucker.
Yeah, people really like, everyone loved Ted, and then they turned their backs on Seth MacFarlane with Ted 2 and A Million Ways. I was like, both these movies are hilarious.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Orville. Like, I watch everything this guy does.
Yeah, I like the only argument I'll agree with is maybe Family Guy has gone on too long.
I agree with that big time. Yeah, Family Guy has worn out its welcome.
Yeah. But I feel like I'm kind of like that with a lot of these animated cartoons, minus South Park.
Yeah. Well, I think The Simpsons should have ended 30 years ago. I think, nobody knows how to cancel things appropriately. Everything outstays its welcome unless you've got a showrunner who really has something to say.
Yeah, and that does not happen often, unfortunately. And sometimes even when that does happen, they get canceled early because they have a very terrible network handling them.
True. Well, anyway, Infinite looks like a C+ at best, and we will be talking about it, but I doubt it's going to be the highlight that week. If I remember correctly, something better comes out that week.
Probably. It won't be why I'm hopping on Paramount Plus excitedly. That will be for, whatever Star Trek I'm watching.
Next up, Werewolves Within, a new horror comedy based on the Ubisoft video game, set for release on July 2nd. It's a video game that did not get a lot of attention, was apparently not very good. And here we are seeing a movie out of it. That's kind of odd, but this looks really funny.
So yeah, I know nothing about the game, but when I saw the trailer this past week for it, I was like, this has jumped straight to probably my top 5 most anticipated horror films. It looks hysterical. It looks like they're going to have a lot of fun with both the murder mystery and the werewolf subgenre. This just looks like something very fresh and original that I'm really excited to see. I want to see this really bad. The trailer sold me immediately.
Yeah, same. I'm always on the hunt for good werewolf movies because to me they're very difficult to find. So I'm hoping this one is a good one. I recently watched The Wolf of Snow Hollow from 2020, and I thought that was pretty damn good. Not your traditional werewolf movie per se, but still pretty good. This looks like it's in the same vein, just a lot more pushed towards comedy.
Yeah. Like I did laugh at the end trailer when they're trying to leave the creepy dude's house. They're trying to unlock the door, like, no, don't kill us, don't kill us, no, 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 no. And he just unlocks it.
Yeah, that's gonna be good. I wish that was coming out in October though. It makes sense, kind of a harvest movie. July just seems weird for that.
It does, and it would actually be great because, like I said, with the movies I mentioned earlier coming out in October, like there are super serious horror films. Like every single trailer I've seen for those is like, well, minus Halloween Kills, we haven't had a trailer released yet because before they could start doing that, shit got delayed. It's all very serious, very in your face horror. So to have like some kind of nice comedy that isn't the full Jackass film, offset it. If anyone can't tell, it's still blowing my mind. I'm getting a Jackass film this year.
And of course, we will be talking about that too. Finally, the big one, Marvel's Eternals, directed by Oscar-winning director Chloe Zhao, starring a whole bunch of interesting actors like Richard Madden, Salma Hayek, Angelina Jolie, Kumail Nanjiani, and Kit Harington, among others. Set for release November 5th. This looks weird, and I have not yet said that about anything Marvel's put out, but this looks bizarre, and I'm really kind of torn on it.
I'm very intrigued because like ever since, and we've all seen it when Thor Ragnarok came out, to me that was a true shift in Marvel to really just embracing outlandish. You had dabbles with the Guardians of the Galaxy, obviously, and stuff like that. But that was a movie that said, like, okay, now we're really just embracing a zanier side of this universe. So it looks like between the trailer for Shang-Chi and now the Eternals, they're really kind of showing to me these two very vastly different types of Marvel films. So I'm intrigued to see what this one brings to the table. It looks very like realistic for a Marvel movie. One of the actors in it was a complete badass in the movie I was actually about before we recorded. Trinity Bassan, complete badass in that movie, and I hope he brings that to this one.
Sweet. I think that the reason Guardians and Thor Ragnarok worked so well, despite being so weird, was that it embraced fully that it was weird and just leaned into it. Eternals looks like it might do the opposite thing, where it kind of just ignores it and just assumes the audience knows what's going on. And I don't think that's a good move. I hope this works out. It's going to be very experimental. I think I've heard Feige say like it's very big for Marvel going forward. So it's not like a one-off, like this is the future of the MCU. So hopefully this works out.
Yeah. It's really interesting. You watch, like, to me, the three, like, kind of talking about, like, I know I'm talking more broadly about the MCU right now, but it's just because, like, you see the trailer for, like, Black Widow, and it looks like your standard Marvel movie. And that's not a bad thing. I'm really excited to see Black Widow finally after waiting an extra year. But then you see, like, Shang-Chi, and it's like them having fun with martial arts and stuff like that, and it looks vastly different from what we've gotten from Marvel before. And then you see this teaser trailer, and it looks vastly different from what we got. It's like very realistic looking. It's almost has like a godlike feel to it because what the Eternals are. Like, it's really, really different than what I was expecting.
Yeah. I don't want, like, I just want to be clear. I don't want to, like, I don't hate it, and I don't want to, see it fail. I hope it I hope it works. I hope it works. I want it to work. I love everything Marvel's done thus far, and I really hope I can add this to the list.
Yeah. I'm going to stay hopeful. I don't think I think the most recent film I did not like all that much from Marvel was Captain Marvel, and before that, I can't really think of a movie I like actively. The one I like despise was Iron Man 2. Because even Iron Man 3, I'll like it up to that fucking twist. But yeah, I can't really think of many Marvel movies I actively like just did not like at all. Like, I pretty much like what they do.
Iron Man 3 really put me off with that twist. I haven't wanted to go back to that one. And then the first two Thor movies are, I think, pretty dull.
Yeah, I like the first one, but after seeing Ragnarok, it really makes the first two pale because it's like, oh, a director that gets that this is kind of zany.
Yeah. And then Captain Marvel also I haven't gone back to, but I liked it when I first saw it. I just haven't revisited it, and I think that says a lot.
Yeah, like I've calmed down my views on it, but I do stand that I think like they with that one there was way too much emphasis on them finally getting a female superhero film out, which I get because Marvel was really slow on that. But I felt like there was just a lot more focus on that and a lot less focus on giving me a good movie.
Yeah, I think, yeah, maybe. Hopefully, the sequel will kind of rectify that.
That's what I'm hoping. Because I am curious when they did that scissor reel and they showed the trailer, I was like, what was it, Miss Marvel or whatever?
The Marvels.
The Marvels. There we go. Miss Marvel was I think an upcoming show.
Yeah, and she's appearing in that movie first.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, they have announced so much stuff. I get confused.
I know, it's awesome.
Yeah, the Marvels. I'm very curious on that, and I'll watch. I mean, I'm going to watch it. I've seen all the MCU movies. I'm not going to stop because of one that didn't sit well with me.
I'm not skipping shit. Like, I'm in this for the long. I've been watching these movies since I was 13. I'm in this for the long haul.
Yeah, look, you know me. I'm a completionist. I'm going to finish.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever ending. I think we're in just the eternal franchise now, so to speak.
I see what you did there.
That was actually completely by accident.
Oh, good. I can keep going until the day I drop dead.
Yeah. Well, that's all the trailers. It was quite a big week for trailers. Oscar nominee Timothée Chalamet has been cast as a young Willy Wonka in the upcoming origin story prequel Wonka, set for release in 2023. I don't think this is necessary at all. This is a shameless cash grab. Chalamet's a great actor, but why? We don't need to know where Willy Wonka came from. Like, there's no.
I don't care. I only like the one with Gene Wilder, and that movie is perfect. It's awesome. Gene Wilder is amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't like the remake. I didn't like Johnny Depp in the role, and not because of any of the recent issues with him. I just didn't really like him in the role.
That movie's so off-putting. The 2005 Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I feel like it's about to become a horror movie at any moment,
Yeah, but not for the right reasons. Like, like the scene in the original film in the boat in the tunnel when it becomes a horror movie. It's not off-putting. It still fits perfectly with the movie.
It's just weird as fuck.
Yeah. Whereas with the new one, it's like, it's very off-putting. It's like, is this supposed to be a kids movie or a horror movie? I don't know what the fuck's going on here.
When, Depp playing Wonka like some like even more deranged Michael Jackson. It's just, I don't get like where that came from. And even in that movie, we got Wonka's origin story. His dad was a dentist who didn't let him have chocolate, so he became a chocolatier. Like, it makes perfect sense to me. Like, do we need a whole movie about that?
No. I'm not interested in this movie. I only like the original one.
Yep. The upcoming Evil Dead Rise, the fourth Evil Dead film that's being produced by Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell, will be having an HBO Max release. Super excited. Love Evil Dead. It's one of the big movies we've yet to tackle on the Filmgazm podcast that I've been kind of waiting for the right moment. And with the release of Evil Dead Rise coming, I feel like the right moment's upon us.
Yeah, no, like I'm a big fan there with you. This is probably off the top of my head, the only horror franchise that every movie and in this case TV show that's come out of it has been good. There's not a single one I don't like. I love all of them.
Yeah.
And I think this is going to be just as good. I'm sure I know there's probably going to be some people worried that, Bruce Campbell's not in it. But the fact that they're producing it and involved in it tells me that they are doing an idea that they believe in and that they think is going to be good and worth telling. And so I'm still down to see what they got to bring.
Evil Dead, like you mentioned, all the movies in the show is great. I'd throw the video games in there. I've played a lot of them, and those games are fantastic. Bruce Campbell voices Ash. You ever play Evil Dead: A Fistful of Boomstick?
I have not. I haven't played the old video games. I am looking forward to the new one coming out.
That does look neat.
Mhm.
Kind of, I guess that'll be his swan song, kind of, huh? The game.
Yeah, for the character, yeah.
Fistful of Boomstick came out on the PS2, and Bruce Campbell plays Ash. Takes place in the town of Dearborn, and some colleague of Nobi's gets a hold of Nobi's tape recorder and plays the tape live on the air during a talk show. And shit gets wild. The Deadites come out, and Ash, you play as him trying to take this thing down. You end up like time traveling to the Civil War, and it's one of the most fun games I've ever played in my life. You would love that game so much.
Okay.
I finally found a copy, and it's one of my favorites.
Yeah, like this is been a consistently good franchise.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually sad when I heard the show got canceled after the third season. I was like, no, I wanted more because I thought Ash vs. Evil Dead was a fucking awesome show.
I love that show. I hated that the ending implied such a badass fourth season we're never gonna get. It's gonna be fucking Evil Dead meets Mad Max. Like, how cool would that have been? Oh,
Yeah, they finally give us that much talked about like alternate ending to Army of Darkness where he's in the future, and I was like, oh wait, we're not getting a fourth season. Damn it.
Well, Evil Dead Rise will be great. I'm sure. Raimi and Campbell are producing it. I'm sure they won't make this. They will make sure this doesn't suck.
Yeah, I think it's in good hands, and I'm excited. It's more Evil Dead, and if I'm not going to get the 2013 fucking Evil Dead sequel that I really want, I'll take this. It's fine. I'll take this.
Perhaps on the complete opposite end of the film spectrum, Wes Anderson's new film, The French Dispatch, finally has a new release date. After debuting at the Cannes Film Festival in July, it will hit theaters on October 22nd. So I know Austin, if you're listening to this, which I bet you are, he's been looking forward to this for a long time, waiting for this to get a release, and now it's got one. So good. Just in time for next year's Oscars. That's not an accident.
Was it delayed because of COVID?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll watch it. I actually really like Wes Anderson. I unfortunately not seen a lot of his films. My intro to him was probably the big one for a lot of more mainstream audiences, Grand Budapest Hotel. But I really like that. I do like his style. It's different, but I think that's why I like it so much. And I do, with that one coming out, I might finally, before I watch it, go down more of his rabbit hole, finally check his stuff out. Austin, if you're listening, you want to help me out, tell me how I should go about the order and checking his stuff out. I'll gladly go in that order.
I am in literally the exact same boat as you. I was introduced to his stuff with the Grand Budapest Hotel. Thought it was great. I've only seen the Life Aquatic apart from that, and that was pretty good. So I was planning to kind of marathon his stuff when the French Dispatch came out, and then it got delayed, so that didn't happen. But now it will.
Okay, yeah, sweet. Yeah, I always focus. I know, like, especially like being like going through film school like I did, and being my friend fans. Everyone's always Wes Anderson, and watching Grand Budapest, I completely get it. Like the guy's a masterclass director and achieving a certain style that just works somehow. and I absolutely do want to go down that rabbit hole and check out his other stuff. And yeah, like you said, now that this is finally getting a release date and coming out, it'll be a chance to make some time and check out his past stuff.
Well, I know Fantastic Mr. Fox and Isle of Dogs recently got put on Disney Plus, so that'll be probably where I go first.
Oh, okay. A friend, I think, tried showing me Fantastic Mr. Fox, but I was super tired. I have a tendency to like start films when I'm tired without realizing it, and I'll fall asleep like, fuck.
If it's late at night, I'll have a moment where I'm like kind of like really paying attention to how I feel. And I'm like, if I detect like that I'm tired, I'm like, all right, something familiar, something chill, so I can just fall asleep to it. Like, no, you're not tackling a new director tonight. just go to bed. This was weird. Well, maybe not, depending on who you are. Aaron Taylor Johnson has been cast as Spider-Man villain Kraven the Hunter in Sony's upcoming film Kraven the Hunter, set for 2023. Now, when I picture Kraven the Hunter, I picture a giant, like 6'5", big game hunter from like Eastern Europe.
Mountain, got it.
Yeah. And basically, yeah. I don't see Aaron Taylor Johnson. I don't see Kick-Ass. I don't see Quicksilver. I see like, fucking Jason Momoa would have killed it.
Oh my God, yes.
He was born to play fucking Kraven the Hunter.
You know, he could probably somehow, I don't know how he'd pull it up, but he could probably kill it. Tom Hardy probably would have found a way to fucking mumble his way through that.
Maybe. I don't know. I picture kind of like, I know back in the day when Spider-Man 4, where they were talking about it, I wanted Oded Fair.
Ooh, that would have been good.
Yeah. Something about him just screamed Spider-Man villain, Kraven the Hunter. I don't know.
I think, yeah, if he got big enough for it, because he had the accent. Definitely had the accent. I'm with you. This is a weird choice. It's not that I hate Aaron Taylor Johnson. He has yet to play anything memorable to me. If I'm being quite honest. Like, don't get me wrong.
Not that I hate him, his whole career has been a waste of time.
That's really bad. Well, okay, look, like Kick-Ass was good. I like Kick-Ass, but he got outshined by Nicolas Cage. I liked him in Avengers, Age of Ultron, but Evan Peters was a more entertaining Quicksilver.
Yeah.
And then what else? Godzilla, let's just be honest. I didn't care about him. I wanted Godzilla. So yeah, I'm not hating. I'm just saying that he hasn't. But I mean, I felt the same way about what's his name, Jai Courtney. He did not impress me until I sat through Suicide Squad, and somehow he was one of the better parts to that movie.
I don't think it's fair to compare Aaron Taylor Johnson, a fairly competent actor, to the walking dumpster fire that is Jai Courtney. I don't think that's fair.
Wow, you're really going at me here for Aaron Taylor Johnson.
I just really don't like Jai Courtney. I think like the guy is the acting equivalent of like a fucking slab of concrete. He just has no interest whatsoever. There's no intrigue there. It's just the concrete. Aaron Taylor Johnson impressed me when I saw Nocturnal Animals. So he's got one to me.
Okay. So I haven't seen that yet. So
he's a psycho in that.
Maybe that's what they saw to get him to play Kraven. But even then, like, unless he gets like, I know I shouldn't like, but Kraven's kind of a big dude. Like, he's kind of a big dude.
That's his whole thing. He's a giant big game hunter who like wrestles fucking elephants. He's a huge guy. And also, his real name is Sergei Kravenov. Like he is, from like Ukraine or some shit. I would like, I don't know. I think they could have done better here.
Yeah, but I mean, the whole thing they're building up, the Sony's building up with their stuff outside of Spider-Man, because the weird deal they want to make, because God bless, they give Marvel Spider-Man completely. I haven't been super into, like, don't get me wrong, like, I liked Venom, but I liked it because of Tom Hardy, and everything around him wasn't that great to me. Yeah, Let There Be Carnage looks awesome, and I'm hoping they learn their lesson. But I'm mostly again interested in Tom Hardy and Woody Harrelson. There's not a lot else intriguing me.
See, I see Aaron Taylor Johnson as a decent, like, Electro. Or maybe like Sandman if they want to go younger on that. But Kraven, I just don't see it.
Yeah, I think he was, I just felt like a miscast here.
I also read that like the Sony execs had to look him up before they cast him. Like they didn't know who he was.
Oh, so I sound okay. I don't sound like the bad guy anymore. All right. The executives who work in the industry had to look him up, and I know more about him.
Honestly, like to me, it's just like, when certain actors come up, you immediately like run through their highlights in your head. To me, it's always just Kick-Ass, Avengers, Nocturnal Animals. I completely fucking forgot about Godzilla. Like he was completely unmemorable in that movie that I just completely wiped him out of my head.
That's what, I've seen Nocturnal Animals. I'm just saying the shit I've seen him in, he's been outshined by something else.
To me, the best thing he's ever done is the chubby little kid in Shanghai Nights.
I remember that. I haven't seen that movie in years, so
I love both those movies. The Shanghai Noon, Shanghai Nights. Those are fun movies for me. Well, maybe it'll work out. I don't know. Maybe they'll do something. Obviously, they're planning some kind of thing with, Venom, Morbius, Kraven. They're doing something. I don't know if we'll ever get to see what it is because Sony does not really follow through with their plans.
It's amazing how everyone wants to be like Marvel, but they forget the part where Marvel follows through with their plans.
Well, people forget that the one thing you really have to do when you're doing anything is try. And a lot of these studios really forget that part of it. They just say, like, they put all their toys in the sandbox and wait for something to happen, not realizing you got to be the one who makes it play. Marvel knew that. That's why they're on their, 25th film. They know what they're doing.
Got it down to science now.
It really is. They're playing with deep cuts now. Shang-Chi, the Eternals. Who the fuck are these guys? I don't know. I look them up. And I'm like, that sounds neat.
Yeah. And I think, and most fans agree that not even like their best superheroes. They're just like, characters started getting movies because they've used up all their big names.
Yeah, it's amazing. And they're just kind of biding time till, the X-Men and the Fantastic Four come back. And we're all looking forward to that.
Yeah.
But they're not just, throwing it into the plan and fucking that up. They're waiting for the right moment.
Right. And I actually like how they're doing it. Like it looks like they're doing Fantastic Four first, which I actually like that they're doing that because X-Men overall with Fox had a good run. There was occasional bad movie here and there, but they overall had a good run. There was not a single good Fantastic Four film that Fox did, and they had 3 tries at it. So I'm glad that Marvel's like, no, let's do Fantastic Four first because it really needs a good fucking movie.
Yeah. Above all, I want to see Doctor Doom done correctly. Like, he's one of Marvel's most iconic villains, one of the most iconic comic book villains ever. And he's been so fucked up every time. He just progressively worse. The Nip Tuck guy and then fucking Koba. Like, that's the best you got? Like, give me somebody who works. Write this character correctly, please. Oh, yeah. Clearly, this is a hot button issue for me. I've been thinking about Fantastic Four for a long time. I've seen all of them at the movies, and just every time I feel like, the hope gets sucked out of me within 10 minutes.
Yeah. I have hope at Marvel. I'm very curious when the new Blade comes out because, Snipes has been talking to Marvel, hinting that he's in something that they're doing, and I'm almost confident he has some kind of fucking cameo in Blade.
Maybe. I think it'd be kind of neat if he played Whistler. Like, older Snipes. He meets, he's the guy who teaches the new Blade how to be Blade. That would be just great.
That would be badass. As long as, of course, Snipes is in a good mood and not taking post-it notes at his trailer.
I think after the prison stints and nearly losing his career, I think that shit's done.
I think he got humbled a little bit.
I think so, and he needed that. Well, moving on, I know whenever we get into a Marvel-related conversation, tangents just split wide open without our control. So let's talk DC for a little bit. Todd Phillips has confirmed he has begun work on a sequel to Joker. No word yet on whether Joaquin Phoenix will return to his Oscar-winning role as Arthur Fleck. I would bet everything I own that he says no. I don't think we need a sequel to Joker. This seems, DC and Warner Brothers are probably forcing this.
That's how it feels. And based off how we've heard Warner treating their directors in the past and them being known to be a little bit pushy and step in and think that they have a better idea when they never do. I wouldn't be surprised if this being forced on because I like Joker a lot. It's a fucking awesome movie. I don't want a sequel. I was actually okay without the sequel. I remember, and what, are you going to give me more Batman stuff? Because guess what? That was actually one of my complaints with the last one was like, just get rid of that fucking alleyway scene. I don't want to see that for the 100th time.
The only thing the only thing I think would work, I might have said this on one of the other podcasts, or it might have been a pre-recorded. I don't know. My life just jumbles up at this point. If Joker 2 follows some schlub, we never learn his name, is inspired by the actions of Arthur Fleck, who was like gunned down by the cops that night, and he takes over the mantle of Joker, and that's the Joker.
Which, okay, yeah, but I would just rather that be the implication of the first film and not in the full-on sequel. Like,
I
just
know, but now we're
in
getting
fun.
one, so it's inevitable.
Yeah, I don't. I hope this is like all the other DC projects that they announced and then it never actually happens.
That's true. That's true. That's very true. Good point. Just lie down there with Batgirl and Cyborg and Green Lantern Corps and just yeah, Man of Steel 2.
Green Lantern Corps is happening. It's going to be a show on HBO Max. I've seen like 2 or 3 different casting announcements for that over the past week.
The Green Lantern Corps series is happening. The Green Lantern Corps movie they announced like 5 years ago, that's dead.
Well, that's dead. Yeah. But then they tell Zack Snyder you can't do certain things with him in Justice League because you have plans for him. I'm like, who gives a shit? I was like, this is a movie that is not going to exist outside of like the fandom at all. Like, why? That's why, like, I understand when people complain about like their CW the Arrowverse shows. I'm like, I'm a little bit more apologetic. I'm like, I understand that DC keeps coming to them constantly saying, you can't use this character, you can't use this character, you can't use this. No, you cannot use that character because we have plans. I'm like, leave them the fuck alone. You guys established a multiverse, so just leave them the fuck alone.
Just plans. Like, we've seen all the canceled movies. Warner Brothers is like that friend who's constantly saying that they're a writer, but they haven't actually written the book yet. They're just saying like the book they're gonna write. You know, those people.
Yeah, it's on their typewriter in their cottage cabin in the woods somewhere.
Yeah, it's horseshit. You're not writing the book. You're never gonna write the book. You just like the attention.
It just blows my mind because you get like Disney's approach to Marvel, which is like, do what you do. You're doing great. You're making us money. You know what you're doing. We'll leave you alone. And then you got Warner Bros. It's like, you guys don't know what the fuck you're doing. We got to keep stepping in and helping you. And I think at one point, at first I was like, this is DC. DC's fucking up. I don't think it's DC anymore. I think it's Warner Brothers fucking with DC and not leaving them alone.
Do you remember Highlights Magazine? Do you remember Goofus and Gallant?
Oh, yeah.
There you go. That's Marvel and DC right there. Or Disney and Warner Brothers, more likely. It's, yeah.
Yeah.
Disney, you know, has all their ducks in a row. They make their movies. Warner Brothers is, you know, chucking film reels out the fucking window saying, like, it's not fitting our plan. Like, just, yeah.
Yeah, it to me, I remember just be like, dude, DC just keeps fucking up. But this thing, DC does really good TV shows. And Warner Bros. Does not touch their TV shows very often.
Again, the animated department.
And their animated department. Again, on the TV side, they only touch it to be like, hey, you can't use that character. But yeah, they don't touch that. And both those departments are really good for DC. So I'm like, no, they can do it. I just feel like on the movie front, Warner's feels the need to step too much in and control it. And it's like, leave them the fuck alone. Let them do what they want to do. And I guarantee you we'll finally get some good DC shit out of it.
Well, the best movies that have come out of DC in the past 10 years have been the instances where Warner Brothers just didn't give a shit and let the filmmaker do their thing. Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Joker, like
Shazam.
Warner Brothers just fucked off because they didn't believe in the project.
And those are the ones that are good.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. At what point, like, I just started watching the new season of Lucifer, and there was a great line in there. If all the apples are bad, maybe it's the tree that's the problem. So yeah, just they got a clean house at Warner Brothers.
God, they do. It is. And what I've noticed with Warner Bros. If one movie in DC fails, like if Marvel gets like a failure, essentially, they just write it off and keep trucking along because they have a plan anyway. As soon as DC felt like a movie doesn't connect, Warner Brothers look it up. You hear stories about Warner Brothers freaking out and immediately swooping in to tell them to change stuff. And it's like, okay, stop. You're fucking things up. They had one misfire that people didn't connect with. Calm down. Let them work on the next movie. It will probably do better.
At this point, we all know what the problem is. There's nothing else to say. Just fuck off. That'll solve a lot of these problems if Warner Brothers would just fuck off.
It would. God, it would.
Oh, well, here's moving on to that. Some sad news. Actress Desiree Gould has died at 76 from undisclosed reasons. She was most well known for her role as Aunt Martha in 1983's Sleepaway Camp, a horror classic I've not yet gotten to watch. And I know that you are you a fan of Sleepaway Camp?
Yes. Josh shows me on my first deployment. He had a digital copy of it on Nimitz. And he showed me it, and it's a really good. I like it a lot. Not just, I mean, obviously it's well known for its ending, but there's a lot of good kills. It's a fun movie, and her Aunt Martha is one of the bright spots. Like, she's very over the top in how she in her performance, and it's so out there, it works. She's really good in it.
Cool. Yeah, I looked at her IMDb. She really didn't do much beyond Sleepaway Camp. I guess it just acting was not her forte, but she'll always be remembered in this film. Visual effects artist Robert Hall has died at 47 years old from undisclosed reasons. He had become one of the most prolific VFX guys in the business, with such films under his belt as Ghosts of Mars, Vacancy, The Crazies, Superbad, Prom Night, Pineapple Express, Paranormal Activity 2, 3, and 4, and Halloween 2018. He also directed the films Laid to Rest and Chrome Skull Laid to Rest 2. So this guy clearly had great talent. It's a shame to see him go, especially at such a young age. And my heart goes out to his family.
Yeah, that one was a real shocker because of his age, and he had a reputation in the business for being a very friendly human being, very generous guy. And I mean, his work, and one of the great things about these special effects guys is that their work really does speak for themselves upon their unfortunate passing, and his does very much with the films he's been attached to. I have seen Laid to Rest. I unfortunately have not seen Chrome Skull yet. I've seen Laid to Rest, and it has some of the most gnarliest, sickest practical effects I've seen committed to film. So he was a very talented guy, and it's a tragedy for him to go this young.
Yeah, it is. It's a damn shame. I've seen a good chunk of his work. The dude had really immense talent. He also, he worked on a lot of episodes of Angel, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, one episode of the X-Files. He had roots in TV, and I'm sure he's behind some of, my favorite VFX moments in all those shows. Voice actor Samuel E. Wright has died at 72 years old from prostate cancer. Wright was known mostly for voicing Sebastian the Crab in The Little Mermaid and all its sequels and spinoffs. Literally everything Little Mermaid, the sequels, all the video games, cameo appearances on House of Mouse. It was always this guy. He also voiced Kron in 2000's Dinosaur, for any dinosaur fans out there. I'm sure there are many. Yeah, damn shame to hear this. His voice was, Sebastian the Crab had a very distinct voice, and it's a shame we won't get to hear that anymore.
Yeah, I remember it was actually so distinct when I read the news. I actually hit the song Under the Sea started playing in my head, and his voice just ran. I don't know why, just randomly. But yeah, it's that's such an iconic voice, and it's always a tragedy when something like this. I mean, in all three of these cases, it's always a tragedy when someone passes away, but especially that iconic and connected to quite a bit of people's childhoods.
Yeah.
So condolences to all three of these people, to their friends and families.
Yep. Condolences all around. Very sad. A couple more notes before we get into the movies. Amazon has indeed gone through with their purchase of MGM Studios for $8.5 billion. They have also acquired the rights to the James Bond franchise, meaning sequels and spinoffs are about to happen. I thought Eon and the Broccolis could stop that. Turns out, no, they couldn't. So Amazon owns the Bond franchise now.
I stand by what we talked about last time. I'm worried about what this means for the studios. I know everyone on the team is when it comes to this particular aspect, but physical media worries me, because is Prime going to be willing to put out a lot of these films on physical media when they're probably going to be like, no, we can just bump up our streaming service to get more people in.
Yeah.
So as a physical media guy, I mean, I was literally showing you my two recent uh purchases right before we recorded. Yeah, I'm not down for this, but at the same time, this is apparently the way of the future. Apparently, streamers are what's happening, and there's nothing I can do about it because I don't have $8.45 billion in my bank account like Prime does.
Yeah. Well, it seems like, I mean, isn't this like, Disney taking over Fox, Amazon buying MGM? Aren't they breaking some kind of like monopoly law that's out there? Like, isn't that law in place specifically so no one company can control anything?
I'm sure, but just like Netflix found that loophole to get their films in the Oscars, remember? When they were like, well, we played our movie in the theater for this long. And then they actually literally like buy a theater just to do that.
So,
I'm sure there's loopholes. There's loopholes. These guys, like, yeah, remember these big guys, they got lawyers, they find loopholes. They find them all the fucking time. And I'm sure they found something.
also with the Bond franchise, I think a big part of why it's been so successful and so revered is because it's just the James Bond films. There less is more. We get one every like 5 years, and that's when it's going strong. So I feel like, doing, M's story or like a Money Penny movie, like all that's going to do is dilute this.
Yeah, it's like I don't care. Like the reasons, like I get why the Broccoli's held on to it for so long, was because they only focus, like I said, on Bond movies, and that was it. And there was a clear passion from them on these films. So there was even like even in the worst Bond film, there's a passion, there was a quality being put out there. Yeah. And it scares me when this $1 trillion company, I should point out, it's like one of two, the other one being Apple, has a hold of it. Where's the passion in that? Like, how can you be a $1 trillion company and have any passion in this Bond franchise that, in comparison, does not make the kind of money you're making?
Yeah. I guess we're just going to have to rely on, directors to somehow channel that passion. That's the only thing we can count on now.
That's the only thing I can see coming out of all these all these streamers doing what they're doing and buying up, is that we get some really passionate directors out of it, because the studios are clearly going away, unfortunately.
Yeah, we're living through film history right now. We're witnessing the end of Hollywood major studios for the most part.
Yeah. Kind of wild. So hopefully, and who knows, it might be good that we get it might be a good thing if we get passionate directors, because, look at the horror genre. It's filled with not necessarily studios, but very passionate filmmakers.
Yeah.
And that's why you get so many great indie horror films you hear about all the time. And who knows, we might get that now on a more mainstream scale out of this. And that may not be a bad thing, but I'm still worried. I'm still very worried about this. I don't know.
I got you. Yeah. It's uneasy. It's just, we're not sure, the fate of some of our favorite franchises are up in the air, and that sucks, especially when Amazon's not exactly known for the, killing things with kindness.
Yeah. I mean, and it could be like, when Disney bought Fox, I was super worried on franchises like Alien and Predator and other R-rated franchises. I was like, well, shit, are they going to nix everything R just to make sure that the Disney brand stays intact? But luckily, I was alleviated of that between the news of Deadpool 3 is going to be a rated R movie, that they're keeping the 20th of the century thing.
20th Century Studios, yeah.
Yeah, 20th Century, sorry. They're keeping that alive to essentially be like how they had Buena Vista back in the day to do their R-rated stuff. Amazon might do something like that. Who knows? We don't know.
Well, Amazon doesn't have a family-friendly brand to hide behind like Disney does. They don't I don't think that's going to be an issue with them. I'm more just worried about whatever doesn't, toe the bottom line is going to be just nixed with callous disregard. And that's what I'm kind of worried about.
Yeah. And especially because, again, it's a streamer. They don't care about box office. They care about data.
Yep.
What are the numbers when we put it out on our streaming service?
Yeah. It's just another blow to the theaters, really. And I am wondering, how does this affect No Time to Die, which is still, set for October?
I swear to God, if they move that again, I mean, I know you're clearly looking forward to it more than me, but I'm also really looking forward to it because it's supposed to be Craig's final outing.
Yeah.
And it's like, I've been wanting to see this. Please just give me this movie finally.
Well, I guess we're going to be following that pretty closely over the next few years and see how this goes down. And finally, and this was unbelievable, Kevin Spacey is returning to the big screen in an upcoming film from Franco Nero called The Man Who Drew God. Reportedly, and I'm not making this up, Spacey is playing a cop investigating a man accused of pedophilia. I didn't think anyone could be this tone deaf, but here we are. Apparently, Franco Nero's wife, Vanessa Redgrave, not too pleased about this. He's taking a lot of flack. He's come out and said, like, he's a fantastic actor. I'm looking forward to working with him. And if he's innocent, let him act. I'm like, that's a pretty big if. Like, look,
he's not innocent. His tweet kind of confirmed a lot of things. If no one did, we not remember that tweet he made when people were like, he was like, yeah, I may have, I don't know. Like,
you mean when he announced he was gay to just like to kind of deflect?
Yeah.
I remember that tweet. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, that kind of, so you're not denying it. You probably did it then.
Well, I'm more concerned about the fact that at least 4 of his accusers have died in mysterious accidents.
Yeah. That's great. That's terrifying.
Yeah. That's really weird.
Before I get more into like how I feel about this, what's funny? I found out about that and then finally watched Baby Driver. So can you imagine when I'm watching that movie and he goes, "That's my baby," and I'm like, "Oh, stop, Spacey! Don't say that."
Oh, dude, to me, it's the line where he says he was blinded by the balls on that kid. I can't with that, man.
Oh God,
it's remarkable that Franco Nero, like, I don't know what, like, where is this adoration coming from? Like, has he just not been following the news, or does he just not care?
I don't know. As I've talked to you before, I'm not all about this consistent cancel culture and all this shit that's been going on in Hollywood, the overcorrecting of a lot of stuff in Hollywood. In this case, though, you have someone that's all but confirmed to have molested underage boys. He has not denied it at all. To then put him in a movie where he is hunting down a accused pedophile is, like you said, incredibly tone deaf. And you know what? I don't give a shit if, as of right now, we're unsure he's innocent or not. This kind of movie needs to wait until the goddamn verdict comes out. And then if the verdict says he's innocent and he's for sure innocent, okay, maybe. But as of right now, it's not looking like that's the case. And I don't want to. Look, I'm not saying this as like I'm not a fan of cancel culture. I used to love Kevin Spacey in his prior movies, but if you're getting convicted for something as heinous as what you're getting convicted for, I don't want to see you in a movie again. You've lost your fucking career, in my opinion.
If you make offensive tweets, I believe you are allowed to find your way back. If you molest a whole bunch of underage boys, you deserve to rot in hell. So yeah, I think if Spacey's guilty, fuck him. And it's looking like he's guilty. I mean, 4 accusers dead, and that's not a coincidence.
That's fishy. Like, that is fishy. And considering you could go over the Hollywood history of murders that have happened that have conveniently never been solved.
Oh, this is a straight up fixer. Like, this is a fixer. Spacey hired a goddamn fixer.
Yeah,
allegedly.
Allegedly. I'm not. This is, and to Franco Nero of all people really surprises me. I mean, we're talking the original Django. The guy's not exactly this little known director. He's a fucking pretty big time dude in the business, especially over in Italy. Like, this is, I don't know why he of all people would be the one to be defending him.
I don't know. I do not know. Did you see those videos that Spacey did like every few months where he as Frank Underwood did some kind of like Merry Christmas, everyone kind of video talking about his accusations? It was the weirdest shit.
No, I did not. Especially if it was Frank Underwood, because I didn't watch House of Cards. So,
well, I remember like it's Kevin Spacey, but he's talking like Frank Underwood, like the Southern draw. But he is Kevin Spacey talking about the accusations. He mentions the phrase "kill them with kindness" at one point. Like, it's very weird. Like, I think he's mentally snapped, like, or something. I don't know. I think he is Frank Underwood, and Frank Underwood, like, killed a lot of people to get where he is. Like, I think that in some capacity, like, Kevin Spacey might be gone, and Frank Underwood's all that's left. It's fucking weird, man.
You think maybe he has some dirt on not dirt, or he has like he's done some kind of shit to Franco Nero to ensure he gets this movie?
I don't know. I wouldn't put it past him. I mean, anybody who's gonna rape kids can do fucking anything else. So I don't know. I just think it's weird that his first role after all this is a fucking cop investigating a pedophile.
It's tone deaf as shit. Even if he gets proven innocent, I probably will not watch this movie because it's. I mean, one, like I said, I doubt he's going to get proven. I 100% fully believe he did it.
I don't think there's ever going to be a trial because the fucking accusers are dropping like flies, and the ones who are still alive are recanting because they probably don't want to die. It's really weird, and nobody's really talking about this.
You know what? I can't believe I'm going to say it, but I'm just going to personally cancel Kevin Spacey and just not watch this movie.
Right. You heard it from Filmgazm Productions. Kevin Spacey officially canceled. You don't get to be in Franco Nero's movie. Yeah, that's right.
Can't believe I said that. What
I wish we had that kind of power. That'd be amazing. Just like no. Like, as of the release of this show, Aaron Taylor Johnson is no longer Kraven the Hunter. Like, we had that kind of power. Just to be like, nope, don't like that. Somebody else.
Don't like it. Find someone else.
Oh my God. We get like an email from Franco Nero, like, I apologize for offending you. Like, he's gone. I promise he's gone.
WB emails us. Okay, fine. We get it. We'll stop messing with their movies. Okay. Sorry.
That would be amazing. We somehow fixed the DCEU. Oh, one can dream. One can dream. So, we had two big releases this week. Usually it's one big release and a little of what I like to call appetizers. It really is, ultimately up to me to pick, like, what is the movie that deserves more time. And it's not always easy.
I will say it's usually pretty easy, but not always.
In the early days of the show, it wasn't easy because I had, it was maneuvering a lot of streaming services and not being comfortable going to the theaters and having to kind of pick, like, what's something we can all work with. But now it's like, fuck it. What are we doing? And I kind of just went with my gut. A Quiet Place 2 is the big movie here. It's in the title, it's the title of the podcast. Cruella, I figured was going to be a wash. I thought it was going to be, irritating, lame, boring. I couldn't have been more wrong. On the record, Cruella was great, in my opinion. Definitely as close as Disney can go to making their own Joker movie. Cruella is probably the most, easily, like, evil character they've ever done. Maybe Frollo, if you want to get religious with it. But Skin and Puppies is pretty dark.
Yeah. I found it to be good. I didn't fall in love with it quite as bad as other people. I will say it's what I want them to do with this live action stuff. I'm not a fan of them doing the Lion King route, where it's essentially carbon copy remake, but live action on that one, really stretching with live action. Yeah. But in some cases, taking out the iconic songs, like with Mulan. Like, okay. So this did what I actually want them to do, which was a totally different story. With that said, yeah, for me personally, and again, let's everyone just keep in mind, I'm an older horror fan that has no issue seeing horrific shit on the screen. So it was hard for me personally to kind of watch them actively retcon and change things up to try to sympathize her more and take away obviously the more crueler aspects of her villainy.
Well, as I said this before we started recording, it is necessary when they're doing a biopic, or not a biopic, a story of like an origin story for a villain, to soften them up a bit, because they're now our protagonists, so we need to relate to them, and it's hard to relate to a woman whose primary motivation is skinning dogs alive.
Right. But at the same token, it's almost like at first it looked like they were actually going to go that route, because the beginning of the movie gives you a very good reason why she would hate Dalmatians, besides the fact that honestly, Dalmatians are assholes. I don't know if anyone, in case you have children that have sat through 101 Dalmatians, please let them know that they're not nearly as cute as they fucking are in that movie. They're the biggest asshole dogs behind Rottweilers.
I've heard they're difficult. I have heard they're very energetic and very aggressive.
Yeah, like if they are like, if you're not the owner, good fucking luck out there with your goddamn Dalmatian. So they it's like they give you at the beginning, you know what I'm talking about, a reason for why she would despise them, maybe even to the point of how she is in the original cartoon.
Yeah.
But then they also go out of the way to make her have a dog and like all this other stuff. So it's almost like there was, for me, a real conflict of like them kind of playing into it and then kind of going back and be like, no. Again, I get it. It's a Disney film. I am not their target audience, obviously.
Well, to be fair, the original ones are Disney films too, and they had no problem having her wanting to skin dogs in that movie.
True, but we also didn't have people getting offended so easily back then by every little thing.
If you are going to see a movie about Cruella de Vil and you are surprised that she wants to hurt dogs, you need to catch up on your homework, because this is Cruella de Vil is known for pretty much just that. Yeah. So that's not, like, oh God.
Yeah, but like I said, like I don't want to sound like I'm just like hating on this film. Besides that, it was a good movie. The costume design, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I won't be surprised if this is like Oscar nominated type of thing for costuming or order or something, because it's fucking out of this world good in that movie. Like it does, honestly, it tells a story. Like they do a good job making the outfits continue to tell the story they're telling. And
you
the
made an
performance,
Oscar compliment. I'm proud of you.
Shut up. Don't you fucking hold on to this. I don't mind giving credit where credit's due is all, okay? Shut up. Now I'm about to go on a new rant. I'm just kidding. And both Emma Thompson I know Emma Thompson, I believe, is a 2-time Oscar winner.
I think she won one for acting and one for screenplay, I believe. So, yeah.
Okay. Either way, 2-time, right?
Yeah.
Emma Thompson and Emma Stone are outstanding in this movie. Like, holy shit. I mean, Thompson plays the villain really well. Stone does such a tremendous job of bringing this iconic Disney villain to life. Like, I was really impressed with both of them.
I had my doubts. I was very vocal in past podcasts about, when the trailer dropped, I thought this looks terrible. Like, why are they making this movie? But Emma Stone really sold me on this. She was fantastic. She was perfectly, balanced of hero and villain. I love the way they kind of made, Estella is her good natured side. And when she wants to be a bitch, it's Cruella. And she just kind of gave into that. I thought that was really neat.
That was a neat aspect, especially because it speaks to like kind of like almost again with the water and makeup and everything. It's just again helping tell the story more. With her hair being black and white, the classic hairdo she's known for, playing into that like dual personality there.
This is absolutely destined for costume design, makeup, and production design at the Oscars. Maybe best original song for Florence and the Machine's "Call Me Cruella." And maybe, perhaps, right now I would say maybe a nomination for Emma Stone.
I would give her a nomination. She's outstanding. It's like, I know I talked about it before, and we've talked about it, like you can tell how someone is committed to the role of Batman by how they say I'm Batman, right?
Yeah.
There was the same here when she breaks, interrupts the dinner party the first time. And she's like, "Who are you?" The way she delivers it when she says, "I'm Cruella," like you believe it. I did not for a second think this is Emma Stone playing a part. I was like, "That's Cruella. She is fucking Cruella." She sold me with those two words alone.
For me, it was the way she altered her speech between both versions. Like Estella talked fairly normal. Cruella enunciated everything like she does in the past. Very much borrowing from Glenn Close there. And I really appreciated that. Glenn Close produced this, by the way. Thought that was neat.
Oh, that is neat. Nice.
Yeah. It's the laugh, like everything. I believe this character. I was very impressed with that. The revenge aspect of it, I really enjoyed that. Watching her tear down the Baroness was just gravy. That was nice. And I really liked her relationship with Horace and Jasper. I wasn't expecting that.
That was nice, especially like Horace. Yeah, Horace was really funny in this movie.
Paul Walter Hauser playing a Brit. He did a great job. This guy's stock has risen so much in the past few years. You know, I, Tanya, Richard Jewell. He is really good. And I can't wait to see what he does next. He's one of the guys I'm paying attention to now.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this is my intro to him. I haven't seen I, Tanya yet. I've been really interested in Richard Jewell. I really want to see that. But based off what I've seen him here, yeah, he's great. Like whenever Jasper's like not on board with Cruella's plans, and then Horace, well, she's the boss, and she's stuffing his face for like the 100th time.
You're right. Was it, ladies and gentlemen? I present the angle. I loved all that shit. That was great.
His love for Wink,
the little dog. Oh, that was great. Like when he freaked out, that dog is like a son to me. You're dead. God damn. I was loving it. I appreciated particularly the soundtrack. Just so much badass 70s punk rock. Like that was awesome.
The part in the movie where she's at her fashion show outside and they're playing the punk song.
Oh, the Stooges. I want to be your dog. Oh God.
Oh, that was I really like that. That was perfect.
Yeah, I love the way they turned Cruella into kind of like a fashion statement herself and made her kind of like a famous, like, antithesis to the Baroness, like the dark side of fashion come to life. Like it was a neat way to do it. I liked how original this was while still paying homage to 101 Dalmatians. I watched the 61 Disney classic and the 96 one with Glenn Close to prep for this because I had not seen those movies, and I'm very glad I did. It's really rewarding if you know the story.
That's right. Like I said, I really didn't want to make it seem like I was hating on it with my one little negative, but because everything else about this movie is incredibly well done. This is exactly what I want Disney to do with their live action stuff. Don't tell me the same story, Disney, that I can just turn around and go get the cartoon and watch that instead. Usually told way better.
Yeah.
I don't want that. I don't want a carbon copy of Jungle Book and Lion King and Mulan and all that shit. Do what you did with Maleficent and now Cruella. It's amazing that of all the ones they've done, the only two that have been different have been Maleficent and Cruella. No, that's what I want. Do those more often.
I think the Jungle Book was a little bit more fleshed out. I'll give that some credit.
It was more fleshed out, but it wasn't exactly like breaking new ground story wise. I mean, it still followed the same beats.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I think Disney's got a lot to dig from, and they can get more creative with it. If this is successful, I'm sure they'll start leaning more towards that. Are there any Disney villains that like you're a fan of who you'd like to see get this kind of treatment?
Oh man, honestly, for me, anything from my childhood of the Disney run from the 90s. I actually would. You mentioned earlier from Hunchback in Notre Dame. That would be a badass origin story to see that. I don't know how well they'd be able to pull that off because that's actually probably the darkest they've ever been.
Yeah, he'd have to be, become a minister of justice and hate gypsies. That would be a really dark movie.
If you want to stick with the female aspect, the villain in Emperor's New Groove,
Yzma.
Yzma might be a really funny movie.
That would be interesting. Right. I love this. I think Patrick Warburton should still play Kronk.
Yes.
Oh, that's good.
love that movie. I don't care what people say.
Emperor's New Groove is a classic. I love that movie.
That movie's so funny. Those waterfall coming up? Oh yeah, bring it on. I think you know what? Going back to Lion King, Scar, like a Scar movie, maybe.
Maybe, but like he doesn't actually do anything until the events of the Lion King. The whole time he's just kind of sulking behind his brother's shadow.
That's true too.
Unless they want to tell like the story of how he got the scar.
Mm-hmm.
Because like there's no way that's his real name. Like there's no way you're born with the name Scar and you just happen to get a giant scar on your eye later in life. Like that's clearly a nickname. I'm trying to think of like other Disney like villains who I think would like really work with this treatment. Maybe Hades.
Hades could work, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I know a lot of people are saying like Ursula would be a good candidate.
I would be down for that. I think Ursula would be a good one.
Mm.
I've been hearing rumors of doing like a Gaston spinoff of like his adventures that there's always alluded to in the movie. Maybe.
Gaston's just an arrogant prick. Like there's nothing else to his personality. he's just an asshole. Oh boy. I've always wanted them to redo like Robin Hood. Because I've always been Captain Hook.
Oh yeah, from Peter Pan.
There's no way there's not a story there.
Oh, especially with how scary it is of the gator.
Yeah, crocodile.
I'm sorry.
The Jolly Roger's not in the Everglades. It's not a gator.
My bad.
I would love a Captain Hook origin story. I would love if he was like a lost boy who didn't agree with Peter Pan and like tried to start his own rebellion or something and then like left, grew up and came back as a pirate.
Yeah, I'd be down for that. But that's what I'm talking about. I want something like that, not, hey, let's do Peter Pan but in live action. No, don't do that.
Well, they are doing that.
I know they are. You know what? If they really want to remake anything, I say Treasure Planet and Atlantis, because those are very underrated, and just maybe take another stab at them. See if people like them the second time around.
Maybe. I personally do not like Atlantis. I find it very dull. Treasure Planet I've never seen.
I remember watching it when it came out. I thought it was great, and then apparently it flopped.
I know that they're planning a live action Lilo and Stitch.
God fucking damn it.
Yep. I'd like to see a Nightmare Before Christmas prequel about Oogie Boogie.
That would be good.
Yeah.
But you know what they'll probably do? Live action Nightmare Before Christmas.
How would that even work?
I don't know. How is Lilo and Stitch going to work? I don't need a creepy looking CG Stitch.
Like, but Oogie Boogie, like he would be like, some kind of, gambling man, looking for a big score who like dies and becomes the boogeyman. Like that'd be fucking great. I'd watch that.
What? Here's a good idea, Disney. Your ride movies aren't that great. You're being very lazy with your live action remakes. Just keep doing animated movies and leave everything else alone. I
agree. You
bought fucking Lucasfilm, you got Marvel, you're fine on the live action front. Like, just keep making animated movies.
Is it wild to you that there are so few Mickey Mouse movies? Like Disney's fucking icon, like barely shows up.
Yeah, I never even thought about that. They really just abandoned him.
He pops up on TV all the time, but like there's only been a handful of movies and like all of them are from the 40s.
Yeah. The most recent time I've ever seen him has been his appearances in South Park.
Oh my God.
I don't think Disney likes that one very much.
Yeah, that's sad. You can't have South Park being the only place we get to see Mickey Mouse. Oh boy. Well, definitely see Cruella, or if you want to be a Disney shill, pay $30. to them.
Just go to the movies. Get vaccinated, go to the movies. All right.
We're all it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Go see it. It's really good and it's entertaining, and I give it an 8. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, I gave it a 7. Again, I know people probably. Luckily, we don't have a huge fan base, supposedly, so I don't have people. I want people hounding me, but again, I don't hate it. I still think it's a good movie.
Last people I want to hear from is fucking Disney freaks.
Right? You didn't give this a high score. They had to do it again. I understand. It didn't connect with me in that way. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I still think it's a good movie, and there's a lot of stuff I liked about it.
I kind of wish that we did have like, massive like controversial feedback. Like, Filmgazm Productions did not enjoy, like one member did not enjoy Cruella, said bad things about Disney, and then like fans are waiting for your apology, and you just never fucking give it.
I'll say it would be me. You know that.
It would be you 100%.
As soon as I said the thing about Justice League, I'm thinking, God, thank you. We don't have a huge fan base, because I don't think I could take those toxic Snyder fans.
Oh,
like, how dare you did not like the 4-hour bloated, self-indulgent, masturbatory Justice League? Yeah, you're right. I did not like it that much.
You would double down, and I'd have to do like serious damage control, and I'd get pissed at them, and then I'd be in trouble.
I'll say that would be how it goes down, because I would be like, no, I'm not apologizing for something I didn't like. You'd be like, no, Caleb, just apologize. No.
Whenever we do Oscar Sunday, I'm always like, please like them. I'm like telling myself, please like this, because we do like considered like absolute classics on that show. So if I don't like it, I always feel like the odd man out. Like, but I don't care. Sometimes where I'm like, this was horseshit, and I am going to say that. But a lot of times I feel bad that I don't like the movie. But it really comes down to preference,
Yeah, I'm just at that point that's like, look, I like what I like, and I don't like what I don't like. All right, like,
there you go.
At the end of the day, film is subjective, and if anything, if you ever come at me like yelling at me and calling me names because I didn't like something, then no, you're taking your film a little too seriously there, buddy. Calm the fuck down.
Yeah. You think that if like I found out you guys didn't like Back to the Future, I would just shut all this shit down and never speak to you again? No, because I'm a grown-up.
And look,
use your words.
And I love horror movies, and guess what gets shit on all the time by most people?
Yeah. Me, most pretty often.
Yeah, actually, yeah. The amount of times I've recommended one scene, you're like, dude, that wasn't very good. I'm like, God damn it.
Oh boy. It's nobody's fault.
Yet here we are.
Yeah. Speaking of horror movies, A Quiet Place Part 2. Feel like I've been watching the trailer for that for 2.5 years. I love that they waited till like 2 weeks before the movie to give you a second trailer. Like, God damn it.
They're doing that with a lot of movies, man. Like the amount of movies I know are for sure coming out this year, we still don't have a trailer. The aforementioned horror films earlier, Antlers and Halloween Kills. We're getting into June. I still have no teaser for fucking those movies. Well, for Halloween Kills, we don't have a new redone trailer for Antlers.
Yeah, we should get one. I want a new Dune trailer. I want a new No Time to Die trailer. I want a new Candyman trailer. Like, give me. Come on.
Yeah, like, come on. These dates are probably not going to move. People are getting vaccinated. Things are staying open. Like, come on. Give me trailers now.
Well, A Quiet Place 2, my favorite, honestly, I enjoyed the film, but my favorite thing about it is I never have to watch that trailer again. I saw that trailer at almost everything I went to see.
I will say, I feel your pain there as someone who tries to go to the theater very often, especially now to support post-pandemic.
Yeah.
But, I watch these trailers online at home as soon as they come out. Because I'm like, I'm not going to wait till Friday. I'm just going to watch it on YouTube real quick.
Yeah.
And so inevitably, no matter what, when I go to the movie theater, I've already seen the trailer. But because I go so often, I'm watching the same trailer over and over to the point where I'm like, all right, can we just get through this so I can get to the fucking movie I want to see?
There's always the occasional trailer that surprises me at the movies, like some indie horror film I haven't heard of. And that's always fun.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the time it is like the same 3 or 4 movies.
Yeah, like the fact that I saw Conjuring, 3, I'm pretty sure I saw it in front of fucking Cruella for some reason.
Oof. I don't remember what I think.
Oh, what?
I don't remember. Yeah, I got
No,
nothing.
it wasn't in front. It's I'm mixing it with the other films I've seen where they have been playing it ad nauseum in front of everything, as if people aren't going to go see Conjuring 3 because it's the third one to two very successful horror films.
I actually have not seen the Conjuring 3 trailer at the movies. Like it hasn't played in front of anything that I've seen.
For A Quiet Place 2, because it played in front of mine.
No, I didn't get it for A Quiet Place 2. Oh, wait, hold on. The lady was taking forever with my hot dog, so I made it till like the last trailer, so it might have been before Quiet Place 2. I walked in at the end of Top Gun Maverick, and then the movie started.
Don't even get me started on how much I don't want that fucking movie.
Yeah, that's gonna be. I don't give a fuck about that movie.
Don't, and I
talk about it.
Yeah, and I know this is a hot take, and again, I'm glad we don't have a huge fan base, but fuck Tom Cruise.
Oof! Ouch!
I had my reasons, and it has to do with me being in the military. So
every time you say "fuck Tom Cruise," a short guy somewhere falls off a box. I love that we can just do whatever the fuck we want. It's nice. I didn't say anything. I didn't say Tom Cruise was short. I didn't say anything about that.
Watch me say that, and I do get like a tweet or something from someone like, "You really hate Tom Cruise?"
No, what you're gonna get is a fucking cease and desist from David Miscavige.
Okay, I don't want to see Top Gun 2, so fine with me.
You mean I don't have to talk about Tom Cruise ever again? Okay.
Oh no!
You win, Scientology.
How will I live with the rest of my life?
I just picture like on all the reviews I've done of Tom Cruise movies on the site, I just got to go like redacted on every time his name is mentioned.
At first you're like, oh, but then after you're like, God damn it. Why did Caleb have to say fuck Tom Cruise on the podcast? God damn it.
Oh, it'll be great if like in the fall, we just got to be like, due to legal reasons, we cannot talk about Top Gun Maverick. So we're doing something else today. Oh boy. Well, yeah. So I walked into Top Gun Maverick at the end of that. I sat down. Well, first I walked to the wrong end of the theater and then realized, oh, I'm sitting on the other side. And I walked back and then sat down in my seat.
You know, the one thing I hate about like the AMC I go to, it has the reclining seats, which is nice. But the space they made to make sure there's enough space between like the row in front of you, it's really just enough for the reclining seats. So you're so awkwardly squeezing between people if someone's like already sat down in the path you're taking.
Oh my God. Yeah, the Regal by my family's place is pretty similar. I go to the Evo Springtown location in San Marcos, and they're kind of a hybrid of like Regal and the Draft House. It's kind of cool. Like they got the recliner seats, but like a Draft House style menu. So you can kind of do whatever you want there. I like that place.
Okay.
Pricey as hell, but it's nice. So A Quiet Place Part 2 was written and directed by John Krasinski, who also appears in the opening act as Lee Abbott. He had full control over this one, which might explain why it's so much better.
Just as good as the already great original film. Let's move on.
I haven't seen that. You must be seeing some director's cut I've never heard of, because A Quiet Place, the first one, is pretty fucking boring, as you can hear from our Filmgazm last week.
Quiet Place first one was pretty great, and you are on an island with that opinion.
I am very much on an island, and I don't get it. Like, why? What is the reverence? What is it? Where? Why? Just because it's quiet? Like, that's not.
It's a great horror movie.
Very boring movie. The second one is a great horror movie. This is like the only time in my experience that I have hated the first movie and really liked the second one.
You haven't sat through Yuigi and Yuigi Origin of Evil then.
I did sit through Origin of Evil, and I thought it was okay. So that does not count.
You haven't sat through the first one, though. I've sat through both.
I don't think I will sit through the first one. From what I hear, it's absolute dog shit.
Well, there's another show we're developing that you might just have to.
Spoilers.
Hint, hint.
I'm picturing like, those like, trailers analyzed videos, or they're like, three hidden things in this trailer. They're like, there's a circle around your head, and it's just like, new show coming? Question marks. Maybe.
Maybe. I haven't been clear enough.
Yeah, I mean, what do we have to say? There is a new podcast coming in a few months or something like that. But I don't know. I think Krasinski having being director, writing the screenplay himself with no input, I feel like it added a bit more tightness to this film. Had a lot more. I think it had an arc. Like we do, something to do. I really liked this. I wanted to hate it. I went in thinking like this is gonna fucking suck, and I'm gonna have to do this again. But no, I really liked it. I was in pretty much from the beginning.
God bless. I was in too. But as someone who actually really likes the first one, I thought it was just as good as the original for me. It actually, to me, it felt like almost like that, that aliens comparison people like to make. The first one was much more horror centric, horror focused, while this one was still horror. The set pieces had a lot more action. It was a lot more action oriented with its set pieces.
I agree.
But it works, and it works as a continuation of the first film and the storyline that was going on there. It opens up the world a bit more to the point that there was a lot of elements I'm interested in actually hoping for a third film. I know there's some behind the scenes issues going on. Hopefully that gets resolved and Krasinski stays on board, because there's some stuff touched on here that I want to explore in a third film. I was really impressed that they pulled this off a second time. And I think a lot of it has to do with Krasinski. I will agree with you that him having the full creative control was, I think, a benefit. He clearly understands, someone who was not a horror guy and didn't get on board till the first film. He has like the quickest grasp of it I've ever seen. Like he understands it. And I think the biggest thing too that I noticed with this sequel, it does not treat the audience like they're fucking idiots. It treats them like they've seen the first one and know what's going on. And I really appreciate that.
I wish every sequel did that. Like, it's got 2 in the title. You should know that there's something you should have watched first. That's not rocket science. Like, it's not the movie's job to catch you up.
Yeah. And not only is it called 2, it's called part 2. As in, there's even more indication that this is literally going to pick up where we left off.
Yeah. And I thought it did a great job doing that. Like, I liked the way it starts out, showing how this happened, day one. I thought that was great. The fucking meteor at the ball game, I was like, that was great.
That was good. Seeing Killian Murphy real quick in that scene.
Yeah.
Was really cool. Signing him up. Seeing John Krasinski again. Like, we know what happens in the first one, so he's not going to be in the sequel. But having him kind of come back for that opening.
Yeah.
Was awesome. And again, just kind of hoping so, like, how much of a tight-knit family that is. And it works in the sense of, like, really Henry the loss of his character to that family. Like, this was a very tight family, a very close family. And you get that in that opening scene. I love that opening. Like, they are knocking it in 2 movies. They knock it out of the park with their opening. In the first one, with how ballsy it was. And then in this one, with just how, like, setting the stage for a more action-packed sequel. And just edge of your seat immediately it was.
Straight up. I thought it was cool to see Wayne Duvall very briefly in the as the shopkeep at the beginning. I've always liked him ever since Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, which I watched like last week just on a whim. So it was cool to see Homer Stokes again. Yeah, just hiding out in the bar. The one lady's cell phone goes off. The fucking thing just bursts through the door. The creatures were so much scarier in this movie. I don't know what it was. I saw the first one in a theater too, so it wasn't that. It was just I don't know. Something about this movie resonated with me. Like, I finally got it.
And probably the fact that they open it up a bit more and you get more answers. And to its credit, that's the one thing for me I was really scared of. Like, shit, they're going to probably explain how they got here. And my experience with horror, like I saw in Quiet Place and other times, is that the more you explain, the less scary it is. They do
Well,
just enough here that it still
yeah.
works.
Well, it occurred to me that like in this world, how can anyone know why these things are here? They don't communicate. They're here to destroy. So the best we could hope for is just like the reaction of the first day, which is perfect. It's enough for me. I thought that was great. I love that they did that, and now I'm pretty much satisfied on that front.
Yeah, no, it's perfect. And the fact that all they show is that the meteor, that's it. That's all you need. Like,
Yeah.
the only thing they confirm is like, yes, they came from space. That's it. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, just them like tearing through the fucking town.
Dude, so I'm a sucker for like use of excellent camera work, right? The scene when Emily Blunt gets her two boys in the car and is driving and it just stays on her as shit's happening. Oh my god, that was some amazing use of camera work. And then when you see that bus coming, and it's again that scene from the trailer, right? And you see the creature coming out and she's trying to back up. Excellent. Just excellent shit.
Apparently, Blunt really did that stunt. Like she really was driving backwards while a bus was right on her. I guess the bus had a stunt driver, but she, because of the camera needed her to be there, was really doing that shit. That's awesome.
The Brits, man, they are fucking on a different level of commitment.
And when your husband's directing it, I mean, what are you gonna do? Quit? You're still going home. You drove there in the same car.
It's like you have to have the awkward car ride home. Go to bed together.
Oh boy. And then from there we pick up with the family after they shot the one creature in the basement, and now they gotta leave. Not really sure why they had to leave. Why did they have to leave?
Well, they gotta find a new home. That was the whole driving force. And it was like finding a new home, and then for the deaf daughter, seeing if they can start spreading that word of like, hey, we know how to defeat them finally. The only thing I will say about this is the only thing I noticed. I didn't even notice it till like today when I was thinking about the movie. The first one ends and it shows two of the creatures running to the house. This one starts right where that ends, but all of a sudden the two creatures are magically gone.
Huh. Well, yeah, good point.
That's the only thing I don't know. Again, that's not knocking against me because honestly, like, as a lot of people know that we talked about in the past, when it comes to these horror franchises, right, and sequels, continuity seems to really go out the window a lot of the times. Mm-hmm. Continuity very strong in this film, very very strong, and that was like the only thing that made me go, wait, what happened to the two creatures? Besides that, continuity is fucking spot on.
Well, I think now our generation of film watchers are paying attention harder than any other like generations. I feel like continuity is going to be a lot tighter going forward in film, just because we will bitch about it.
Thank God. Don't get me wrong. Is watching the Halloween series kind of an enjoyment with that continuity? Yes, it is. I don't want every franchise to be like that, though.
Oh, yeah. So Emily Blunt, Millicent Simmons, and Noah Jupe all return as the Abbott family. Newcomers, we have Killian Murphy as Emmett, their old friend who has lost everything. Murphy is known for his role as Thomas Shelby on Peaky Blinders, but he's also appeared in such films as 28 Days Later, Inception, Sunshine, Dunkirk, and the Dark Knight trilogy as Scarecrow. And he is by far my favorite part of this movie. He is so good in this. He's one of my favorite actors. Killian Murphy always kills it.
Agreed. No, I'm with you. It's funny because I always like don't think about much after like whatever I see him in. But then when I see him, I'm like, oh shit, Killian Murphy. Like, it's weird. I love the guy. He's consistently reliable. I just, for some reason, he doesn't enter my mind when the movie's over. So when I heard, and it's not a knock against Killian Murphy, because when I heard he was in this movie, I was like, oh shit, the guy Killian Murphy. And yeah, watching the movie, just like anything else he's done, he is awesome. Like, he continues that consistent delivery of performances, and he is awesome and one of the strongest point to this movie. And it's funny because he's not like he's breaking new ground with the character arc that he's playing, but because it's Killian Murphy, he just finds a way to get you mesmerized to the screen and want to see what happens to him.
Well, also, I expected him to be a turncoat the entire movie. Like, I was waiting for him to betray them for his own self-interest, but he doesn't. And I like that. I like that in the end, he really is trying to help them.
Yeah, he is literally a broken man. He's lost everything, as you see in the scene later.
Oof.
Everything in his that he has loved is gone. He was a good. It's implied that he was a very good husband, a very good father before this. That was friends with that family, and he lost the things he loved most in his life. And with Millicent Simmons' character specifically, he sees a chance at redemption, and he takes it.
Yeah, and he sees a chance to honor Krasinski's character and take care of his family because he couldn't take care of his own, and that's sweet. The moments between Murphy and Simmons are the best in the film. Just their kind of back and forth was so good, and you believed it.
Yeah. Oh, dude, when he was trying to talk to her, and she's like, I don't know what you're saying," and he's getting frustrated and angry, and because you can tell he's trying to say it, and then she just kind of holds his head and goes, "Enunciate. It's okay. Calm down." It's a really sweet moment between the two of them.
Yeah.
We have someone that's trying to tell this girl something, trying to do good by her, and he's so his nerves are all over the place, and she's just like, "Hey, calm down. I'll listen to you. Just need to calm down, enunciate, and I'll hear you."
Well, and then at the end, when they finally make it to the island, and she says you're like him, and he's like, "No, you are," and walks away. These moments don't feel forced; they feel earned.
Yeah,
I appreciated that.
The dive moment.
Oh yeah,
back to the opening, because he had asked her, "Hey, how do you say dive?" And sure enough, he looks at me and goes, "Hey, dive."
It's a good thing he asked her that at the game, or else they would have been dead.
Yeah.
Is that was creepy? The boat people, the silent people who just kind of formed a weird culture. I would have liked a little bit more exploration on that.
Well, and that's when I was saying opening it up a bit more for hopefully stuff in the third film. That was one of the things I was talking about. Was things that made me go, "Ooh, I really hope there's a third film. We see more of explanations on things like that."
Well, and the whole idea that Murphy introduces that the people who are left are not worth saving brings kind of a Walking Dead idea in this world, that the people who survived have gone feral, and I would love to see that. I want the villain of 3 to not just be the creatures, but some psychotic warlord they have to escape.
Oh yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah. So honestly, better yet, considering the movie ends with them separated, what if mom and the son are abducted by some psycho, and Killian Murphy and the girl have to go save the family?
And we see a potential badass Killian Murphy, because it kind of alludes to in the beginning with his weaponry. It's this guy's done some shit.
Yeah. It reminded me of the next logical step that his character in 28 Days Later would take. Very similar, end of the world, apocalypse movies.
There he becomes a badass.
Yeah. Speaking of badass, Oscar nominee Jimin Hunsu appears as the enigmatic, super important man on island, as he's listed in IMDb, which does not sound substantial, but somehow he made it substantial. He was nominated for his performances in 2002's In America and 2006's Blood Diamond. He's also appeared in such films as Gladiator, Guardians of the Galaxy, Furious 7, and Shazam. And I really wish he'd gotten to be a bigger part of this movie. I was waiting for him to show up, and then he did, and then he was gone in 5 minutes.
I don't know if it's a part of his contract or Hollywood doesn't know how to use this guy. He is consistently great in everything I've watched him, and he commits every time, regardless of how long he's on screen. But he's only ever on screen for 5 or 10 fucking minutes of the movie, or some super unimportant character. And I'm like, what the fuck? Just stop doing it to this guy.
I don't get it. Both times he's gotten to be substantial, he was, fucking nominated for Oscars. So he clearly has the power to draw. But I don't know. In this, he was underutilized, didn't even get a name, and then was, grabbed under a garage door.
Yeah. I remember when I heard he got cast, I'm like, oh my God, you got him and Killian Murphy. I was like, damn, they are getting some acting cred on this sequel. Mm-hmm. And apparently, nope, just one, because that one only gets 5 minutes and not a name.
It's not fair. Quiet Place Part 2 has an IMDb score of 8.0, Rotten Tomatoes score of 91%. It's already broken the pandemic era record with a global gross of 58 million so far on a budget of 48 million. So it's doing all right.
Krasinski saving the box office.
Damn
Oh
right.
yeah.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks, Jack. Whatever you want me to call you.
So yeah, some highlights of this film. Let's just go through this thing.
Obviously, the opening scene we talked about.
Yeah, the opening sequence is fantastic. I wanted Killian Murphy's setup in the Bowery or wherever he is, the Foundry. That's what I meant, not Bowery. I like that. I love the foreshadowing with the little area that they like hide behind in that has like the lock.
Yeah,
that has the towel there so it doesn't lock, and then later kid forgets the towel.
Yeah,
tense, man. Tense.
Speaking of which, dude, that kid, oh my god, when he got the bear trap, I love how movies seem to be going out of the way to make bear trap sequences look painful between this. I think The Revenant had a bear trap scene. I can't remember. I've seen bear traps in numerous fucking movies. They're melding together in my mind. But God, when that happened, I felt the kid's screams and pain. That I can't imagine, like, you're running from something that kills you by sound, and the first thing you do is step on a fucking bear trap.
It's not like you could just internalize that. Like, it's a reflex. It's gonna happen. You're gonna scream.
Yeah, it's meant to take down a bear, and you're a kid.
Well, I love that Emily Blunt's like holding his mouth closed, like she's like, please don't stop. Like you can see in her eyes, she's just like, we're gonna die. Don't do this. But he can't stop screaming.
Yeah. Oh, she is like, she was good in the first movie. She's really good in this one. She has a lot more moments in this one of like really good acting moments. And yeah, when you see her like trying to cover his mouth, which is unsuccessful because he's screaming at the top of his fucking lungs, understandably. And she's like crying, and you hear, I think at one point say, "Stop!" I think she says at one point, I can't lose you too," during this scene or something to that effect when she's trying to get him to stop screaming. And you feel it, like you feel like she can't take another loss, not after her husband.
I did think it was interesting that in the first one, at the beginning, when the little kid that the space toy, that monster got him in seconds. This movie, you got the bottle trap, you got the bear trap, you got kids screaming. The monster kind of walked there. Like there was no rush in this moment, I guess.
I think this one realized that we can't make it seem like the monsters are right there every time. Like they're probably understandably going to be a distance away. But yeah, it's funny when you watch the first one, they seem to just always be right there. And in this one, it's like, oh no, they're lounging over up in the mountains. It's going to take them a minute to run down there.
I did love that she used the girl used like the amp and the hearing aid to blast those motherfuckers every time, just to see those guys go, to freak out. It was satisfying.
Oh, she is so quick. As soon as that thing came into view, she just pulls that thing out like this girl, dude, straight up, this girl's a badass. She is a young Sarah Connor in the making. She is a fucking badass. And the way to the point, like, I remember, I know I'm kind of cutting heads at the end, but the way she slams that fucking earpiece into the mic at the end of the movie with like this attitude and force, like, I'm going to fuck this creature up. I was like, in theater, everyone's too damn crowded for me to do it, but I want somebody to be like, you go, girl, you fucking get that goddamn creature.
It did feel like this is for my dad kind of moment where like she's taking the fight to them. Like every radio in the area has this signal and they can be used as a weapon now. And that's great. Like, they're going to take Earth back. Yeah.
The Melissa Simmons, I'm going to use it now. Enough praise can't go to her. She's a wonderful little actress in this movie. And yeah, the way she does that when her poor brother's screaming, she's like, shit, we can't let her that either.
Oh, it's nuts. And I I love at the end when the boy is holding the radio up to the monster and he gets to have his moment. Like, oh.
Yeah, after he goes through the ringer in this movie, yeah, I think there's a lot of hour and a half worth of like I'm fucking done getting fucked with in this movie.
Yeah.
In the moment.
A lot of that. I did think that the kid, like the boy, seemed to be able to walk perfectly fine after making a bear trap to the fucking ankle. Just walking around, climbing. I don't know.
Yeah,
that seemed weird.
Realistically speaking, but how skinny his ankle was and how thick a bear trap is, because again, let's keep, for those listening, it's in the title. It's meant to take down a bear. They're pretty big creatures. That would have effectively probably gone through his entire fucking leg.
Well, she somehow, like she says, like it didn't get the bone. Somehow, like his leg is this thin. It got the bone.
It got the bone. That would have fucked his. I think if this was reality, he would not have had a leg. I think if we're being completely honest.
Yeah, they would have cut that thing off.
So, but hey, fuck it. It didn't get through the bone. Apparently, his leg is made of fucking rubber. I don't know.
Well, and then when he's supposed to be watching the baby, he just goes exploring for some reason. That was not smart, and then finds Emmett's dead wife. That was fucked up.
Yeah, I do hope if they do a third one, there's more explanation on that. I didn't get anything like nefarious from that. Like,
I think it was just loneliness, really. Like,
yeah, I think yeah, because it was implied again in this. Killian Murphy fucking kills it in this movie. It's implied in his little speech when he's like catching them up on his life that he's not coping very well with the loss of his wife and kid. Like, not coping at all.
You know what I'd love to see in part 3? I'd love to see the opening again from his perspective.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe he's the main focus of part 3.
I'd be down. Hey, it's more Killian Murphy. I'd be down for it.
Because there is going to be a part 3. That's going to happen. Just, I don't know when and I don't know how.
It's going to happen. I'm just saying, I hope that things get resolved between parties behind the scene and Krasinski stays on board at the very least to have some kind of creative input with part 3.
Absolutely, because he has really killed it with this. I want to stress again, I did not like the first movie, and I went in fully expecting to hate this too, and I loved it.
I can't stress enough how I think both movies are awesome, and Krasinski's doing a great job for someone who was not a horror guy until he did A Quiet Place 1 and 2.
I thought it was wild how, like, introducing the idea that these things can't swim, but it hitched a ride on the boat. That was great. Like, seeing the boat and him just being like, run! That was
that scene. And yeah, because he was quick. There was no like, let me sit here for 10 minutes. And it's like, no, run, get out of there. It's here, go.
Well, and then like when he ran into the crowd, he grabbed a child just like without thinking. He's like, gotta save this kid. He's a good person at heart. I like that. I like those little moments, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I noticed that. Again, yeah, going back to like, you can tell this movie was like a redemption arc for him. Big time redemption arc from him helping the, Melissa Simmons character to saving that quick moment of him saving the kid. This is all him, even to like the end when he's doing everything in his power to like make sure she can get to that fucking radio. When
he closed the door. He was gonna give himself up, like to make sure she could pull this off, but she saved him. Like, damn.
Yeah, it's fucking. Even I was like, no, I can't. I towards the end was like, no, don't kill Killian Murphy. I don't want to see him die. I don't want to see him go.
Dude, for me, like there was a moment where they get in Man on Island's car and just give him. There's so many names in every language. You could pick one and just give it to him. They didn't. Such a disservice. But they get into his car and they're driving, and the thing like gets on the back of the car, and you think it's gone, and then it just. And I'm not gonna lie, I jumped a few feet.
That was good. And again, did you see her react when it looked like she was about to fucking bite it there? His worry was her, like, oh shit, no, do not get her.
She is hope. And you can't kill hope in your horror movie.
No, you can't. This isn't really a particular, well, it's, I guess, a particular scene. Another thing I really liked about this that I want to bring up is just like the first one, sound design was out of this world good, right?
Yeah.
Which is carried over here as well.
Mm-hmm.
Really, okay, you know what? Fuck it. Here you go, Oscar. Bring up again. I need this film to get at least nominated for fucking best editing because the scene, there's like a couple of scenes where they are intercutting between 3 different storylines and everything matches perfectly to what's happening in the other one. And it is fucking amazing. The technical merits on both these films, regardless, I know you're not a fan of the first one, but yet you cannot deny that the technical merits for both films are fucking almost damn near 10 out of 10s in both cases.
I will not disagree. I will not argue with the fact that the first film absolutely did deserve its nomination for sound editing. And the second one deserves one too, and film editing. I agree. This is a good movie. This is an enjoyable horror film that freaked me out a couple times. I like that. It made me jump. That's rare. I like that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I jumped a little bit at that car scene like you did. I think that's the only part I jumped on though.
That part made me jump. There was, I think, one of the scenes where mom and son are stuck in the tube and the monster's down there. Like one of those scenes got me. I remember jumping there.
I almost thought she was going to bite it when you see her running when she goes to grab the tank or whatever. Mm-hmm. And you see the monster rise up behind her and she runs and you think for a second, oh shit, it's going to get her, but she closes it in time.
Yeah, that was
fucking pull it off.
Well, the way she used the oxygen tank to light that fucker up, that was cool.
And that's what I'm talking about with that editing, right? Because you had like that happening, and then the part with the docks where he lights the match or whatever and sets the shit on fire. Like it's all perfectly cut, and then as soon as the sprinklers turn on, the thing, it's like raining, or he jumps into the water. Jumps into the water. Like the way they fucking edit, like shout out to the fucking editors of this film. Like really huge shout out. Like goddamn.
Straight up. Let's see if we can find their names. I want to give them proper credit. Film editing. Film editor Michael P. Shawver. Michael P. Shawver. Yeah, well done, guy. Good job. He also edited Black Panther, Creed, Godzilla King of the Monsters. Wow. Yeah, this guy's talented.
It showed in those scenes. So, and in the instincts, they did it again at the end when, the shit's going down at the radio station and down in the foundry. And again, things are matching exactly. The beats are matching up exactly.
And it does, and similar to the first film with, Emily Blunt and her kid taking out one of these things and then moving towards a slightly less uncertain future. Things are looking up, and now they got to get reconnected. So 3 is probably going to be, reconnecting.
Yeah. And I do hope that whenever they do like part 3, that's an ending. As much as I have been enjoying these movies, I want a definitive ending because I am scared. Again, I know I've said it like 5 times, but again, with those behind the scene things, I don't want this to be that franchise where Krasinski's involved to a certain degree and then he leaves, but they keep going. And then the sequels are significantly in lesser quality. Because, if he goes, guess who's probably also going to leave?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I don't think Emily Blunt is really a horror gal. Because I don't recall seeing her anything horror prior to this. I'm sure she's willing to just do a lot of stuff because John Krasinski can convince her.
Yeah, I bet. Still hoping for that Fantastic Four casting news any day now.
Well, if he agrees, he might be able to convince her then.
Yeah, but I also don't want her to, Marvel's a long haul. That's a big commitment. So I don't know. She probably will lose interest in a couple movies and then one out.
Yeah, I would hope she kind of has a change of heart because they have kids. And a lot of these actors like to do Marvel movies because guess what their kids can do? Go see their parents in a movie. You can't have
Yeah.
kids see an extreme R-rated film and then expect that at the age of 5 they can go see mom and dad in their extreme R-rated film movie.
Nope, but they can see mom play Mary Poppins. So, and they can always put The Office on. So I think that they're good on that front. I don't know if that'll work.
That's true too. Do they want to see their dad in the office though?
I don't know. They're gonna have a lot of questions about Pam.
And their dad's intelligence, because at times Jim kind of can be.
Oh, he'll always be Jim Halpert. He can do whatever he wants in his career. He will always be Jim Halpert.
You know what's
Nothing wrong
crazy?
with that.
No, you know what's crazy to me? You would think Emily Blunt met him and got married when he became like action man, John Krasinski. No, she met him prime Office years when he was still Jim. So you know that's true love, because he was a dorky man back then.
Yeah, I think most women appreciate a man who can make them laugh, schlub or not or otherwise. Yeah, I consider myself a rather funny guy, and it has worked in the past. I'm not gonna lie. This was great. Any other scenes? Any other things you want to bring up about Quiet Place 2?
For all the, and I know we're talking about like the big set pieces and stuff like that. This film again, we kind of touched on with Killian Murphy. There's a lot of great little moments too in this movie. I appreciated a lot of great character moments, especially like you said with Killian Murphy and Millicent Simmons. They were to me they were the heart of this movie. Like if like Emily Blunt's character kind of like presented, and her son presented the more like continuing the storyline and the action aspect to an extent of it. To me, they were the heart. They were like kind of like that kept it beating, and you really caring about what happens in this movie.
Yeah, I agree. I like that this movie didn't sacrifice character development for bigger action or anything like that. Like they accomplished a very good balance of pretty much everything, and I really hope things work out for part 3, because I want the same team behind that movie.
Yes. Too many times have I watched a horror franchise where that original team leaves, and that's immediately when the sequel suffers.
Yep.
So I hope they stay along. Hint, the character development, the mixture of character development and horror that we're talking about, hint, will be talked about more in depth tomorrow's, or not tomorrow's. When do the Filmgazm episode coming out this week? There's a certain movie we're talking about.
Oh, The Conjuring 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Wednesday.
Okay, Wednesday. It's been a long weekend already.
We announced that last week. It's fine.
Okay. Yeah. Conjuring 2, I'll go more into that, because that's something else that James Wan fucking nails. But yeah, it's always good to see that in horror when you can again, Krasinski, who has openly admitted he's not a horror fan and didn't really get into it until he did A Quiet Place, and then realized the storytelling opportunities that it presents, and how that he is now a horror fan. He thinks it's a very exciting genre. I don't know how he's done it, but in 2 films, he's aced character development and scares, with neither one getting sacrificed for the other one.
That's talent. That's impressive. I gave A Quiet Place Part 2 an 8. It really surprised me, and I'm glad it was good.
I gave it an 8 as well. It as someone who did like the first one, I thought it was just as good, mainly because it was, to me, again, that Aliens reference. I had my really fun horror film and my really fun action horror film.
Let's hope Part 3 doesn't just take place in a prison with like half the cast killed off between movies.
Director gets locked out of the editing room.
Oh, what a train wreck. Not Quiet Place 2, Alien Cubed.
Quiet Place Part Cube.
Oh, God. Thanks for listening. Next week, we're staying creepy with the latest in the Conjuring universe, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, which sees Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga return as demonologist Ed and Lorraine Warren, who are investigating a murder that may be linked to demonic possession. Like the first 2 Conjuring films, it's based on a true story. Can't wait. But I feel like I did not think this film was going to come out this year. Like we got nothing on it for so long, and then we got a trailer and a for-sure release date. So here we are.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'll get more into it on Tuesday about how I feel about the series, but I'm really excited for Conjuring 3.
So don't miss The Conjuring 2 on Wednesday's Filmgazm and the Hitchcock thriller Rear Window on Oscar Sunday. Have a great week and keep watching movies.